We're going to start with number 1. How many moles of KClO3 must decompose in order to produce 9 moles of O2? So given would be 9 moles of O2. The unknown is what is it asking for? The question starts off with how many moles of KCl3. So that's what we're looking for, the number of moles of KCl3. So we already figured out where we're starting and where we're going. We started with moles and we're going to moles. It's a mole-to-mole problem. Okay, so secondly, I'm going to cover it really quick. I'm going to look at my sheet to figure out which pattern am I going to follow. Okay, this one's mole to grams. The first one I showed was mole to mole. So I'm just going to create a T-chart just like that. I don't write, though, mole in capital letters. Okay, that's the number you're given. I need to put mole and mole there because that's what it says on this little pattern I'm copying. I'm just copying the pattern there, and then I plug in the coefficient. That's all I'm doing. Okay, so the mole I was given is what? Okay, if this is the mole of O2, what am I putting right here? Mole of what? O2. Okay, so that's still the same, it matches. And then whatever we want, the unknown, we're looking for moles of KClO3. You always need to double check that the equation given is balanced. That should be step 1. And this question number 1 is already balanced, but from here on out we're going to just double check that it's balanced. So what's the coefficient for KClO3? The coefficient are the big numbers. So it's 2. What's the coefficient for O2? Yep. Okay, so in order to solve this, we do 9 times 2 divided by 3. Anything side by side gets multiplied, and then top to bottom gets divided. Number 2, before I continue, I'm just going to double check the equation is balanced. When we balance, we just put how many of each. I'm going to keep KClO together because KCl is together on the product side as well. So I have 2 KCl, 2 KCl. How many oxygens do I have on this side? 6. I have 6 oxygens, 6 oxygens. So it's already balanced. Let me read the problem to see what I'm given and what's unknown. So how many grams of KClO3 are decomposed when 7.5 moles of KCl produced? So given is the number I'm given. So that's my given. And I'll put my unknown up here. It's not that much space. Okay, and what am I looking for? Wherever it says how many, that's what I'm looking for. How many grams of KCl3? So the unknown is grams of KClO3. So this particular problem, I'm going from moles to grams. So I need to look at my little pattern chart that we have. I'll give you a second to copy it, and then I'm going to cover the problem with the charts. So I'm looking for the T-chart that says moles to grams. I'm going to cover it up for a second. This is the chart that says moles. Get rid of the moles to grams. So I'm going to follow this one exactly. So I'm going to go back and forth. I'm going to create my chart. Okay, I'm going to put this up. So the middle boxes is a mole and a mole. Okay, but you put the coefficient for your unknown on top and the coefficient for your known on the bottom. So I'll just start with this, mole and mole. Again, on my pattern sheet, it says the unknown is on the top. From this problem, we said the unknown was KClO3. Okay, so that's KCl3 on top because the unknown compound and coefficient goes on the top. Whatever the known is goes on the bottom. What was known was KCl. I'll put these boxes here. Sorry. And on the very last set of boxes, it says gram and then 1 mole. So I'm going to put gram and 1 mole. It still doesn't change that whatever you want or whatever you're looking for goes in the top right, like the top farthest right. And what we're looking for is KCl3. So it's grams of KClO3 because that's what we want. Just like when we did the mole concept, whatever you're looking for is on the top right-hand box. Whatever you start with is the number given. What would go here? What's the coefficient for KCl? 2. And what is the coefficient for KClO3? 2. How are we going to find grams of KClO3? There's that magic word grams. Whenever we see the word grams, go to the periodic table. Go ahead and do it on your own. I'm going to try to squeeze it on the side. These all get added together. You're getting the total mass of something. So this number is what I'm going to go ahead and put for my grams of KClO3. Now in order to solve, the top gets multiplied across, and then I'll divide everything by 2. I'm going to put my calculator up here. You can be in flow mode. So that's the number I got on after I multiplied the top, 1,836, and then I need to divide by my bottom number. My final answer is 918. What though? What were we looking to begin with? Right, grams of KCl3. move on to number 3. How many moles of O2 are produced when 1.5 grams of KClO3 are decomposed? So we were given 1.5 grams of KClO3. And then it says how many moles of O2. So the unknown is moles of O2. So we were given grams going to moles. So I'm going to go to my little T-chart patterns. I'm going to look for the pattern that starts with grams and goes to moles. I'm going to cover it up for a second. Grams to moles. You're going to follow this pattern. Go ahead and put a 1 right here. That's a permanent number 1. When you're doing this one, it's always going to be a number 1 there. And this will be your unknown. And then the given. By putting unknown there, that's not anything new. That's what we did with the mole concept too. Whatever you don't know goes up there. Whatever you're trying to solve for. So I'm going to copy that pattern down on my worksheet. Whatever I was given goes here. Let me double check really quick that this is balanced. 2 KCl, 6. Yes, it's already balanced. Okay. Mole of the unknown. Well, mole and mole was here. I'm going to go back to the pattern to show you what I'm doing. I already knew that stuff was automatically there because in the pattern it tells me to put it there. The only thing I really need to add in is what element am I dealing with and what's the coefficient. So mole of the unknown, what element am I putting here? O2. And that's ultimately what I want to find. And mole of the known is KCl3. If this is grams of KClO3, this has to be grams of what? These have to match. We did already figure out, when we see the word grams, where are we going to find that weight, the mass of KClO3, from the periodic table? We did already do it in problem number 2. It's this right here, the 122.4. So go ahead and put the 122.4 here. Now these 2 blank mole spots, we used to always just put the number 1, but now we're putting the coefficients. So what is the coefficients for O2? And what's the coefficient for KClO3? Okay, so we're going to multiply all the way across and we're going to get a number. Multiply the ones on the bottoms and get a number and then divide the 2. And you can be on flow mode. So exactly what I'm telling you to put in your calculator is the 1.5 times 3 and that gives me 4.5. I could have done 1.5 times 1 times 3, but it's the same thing. I'm going to multiply these 2 on the bottom so I can consolidate and just get one number. Okay, so now I'm dividing 4.5 divided by 244.8. Any questions on that one? So the steps again are to find what you're going from. So look at the patterns, put that on your paper, make sure the equation is balanced, and then plug in your coefficients. Do this last one down here. How many grams of KCl, so that's what I'm looking for, because it says how many grams of KCl are made when 13 grams, that's what's given to me, 13 grams of O2. So I'm going gram to gram. You're going to look at your T-chart to figure out which one. I'm going to cover it up really quick to show you guys. Let me draw my line. This one, gram to grams. I'm going to move it in a second, and you're going to copy down these blanks. So I got all of that just from the T-chart, from copying it down. Whatever I was given, that's what I start with. Of O2. If this is grams of O2, this has to be grams of what? O2. A mole and mole. On the top is where you put the unknown element, or the unknown compound. So it's a mole of KCl, because it says unknown KCl. Whatever we were given goes in the bottom. And what are we ultimately looking for? Grams of KCl. Okay, so we can work with this. Grams of O2, where are we going to find that? It says the word grams. Periodic table. So you would, how many oxygens do we have? So you would get the mass of oxygen, 15.99 times 2. And that gave me, and now we're going to use coefficients. So for KCl, what's the coefficient for KCl? A coefficient is the big number in front of the compound. What's the coefficient for O2? Grams of KCl, how are we going to figure that out? Periodic table. Get the mass of K and the mass of Cl, and we add these together. So you're going to get two numbers, and you'll divide the two. So I'm going to multiply all the way across on the top, the 13 times 2 times 74.4 . I'm going to multiply these two just so I can consolidate and get one number. So 31.98 times 3. Now divide the 2. I'm going to zoom out. So if you need to re-watch this while you're doing your problems, you can see all of them. Now you do the ones on the right hand side highlighted, 1, 2, 3, 4.